This portfolio brought me not one, not two, but 3 six-figure data analyst roles. And today, I'm gonna show you exactly how to build one and everything you need to know about it. A good portfolio is the most important thing you need to become a data analyst because it's the first thing that hiring managers and recruiters look into. So if you have a weak portfolio, you're probably not gonna get the job. But what makes a weak portfolio? Well, there are 2 main reasons that people's portfolios are kind of bad. The first reason is that they use a bad data set. If you don't have a good data set, your project won't be good and your portfolio won't be good. So if you're using the Titanic data set, the Iris data set, the Pokemon data set, or another generic, overused, classic course data set, you're probably not gonna get the job. I promise you, hiring managers have already seen a million Titanic data projects. And they honestly don't need to see any more, unless you're applying for a job related to cruise ship safety. Haha, just kidding. Still don't use it. Not only are these datasets completely overused, but using them is a surefire way to look like a complete newbie. Using these very basic datasets signals that you don't have anything better to show off. Later on, we'll talk more about what datasets you do want in your portfolio along with what projects you need to include. The second reason why most portfolios fail is that people just dump code in there without any explanation. It's poorly communicated and honestly just one big code dump. Sure, knowing how to code is a big part of the job, but if you don't know how to communicate your work, it's gonna reflect badly on you. Here's an example of an old GitHub repository that I used to think was my portfolio. And guess how many jobs it got me? None. 0. Nada. It literally didn't get me any jobs because it's just code vomited into a repository. No explanations, not tied to a business question, just meaningless code that did nothing to show off my true skill set. A lot of people make these mistakes, but now that you've seen them, I know you won't make them. Because if you do all the things I tell you in this video, you'll be able to beat out people with more experience for jobs, just by having a really strong data portfolio. Building a data analytics portfolio is kind of like building a house. Choosing the right projects and datasets is laying the foundation. If you get that wrong, everything else above it falls apart. There are 2 things that you should be looking for here. Number 1 is choosing the right projects aligned with your target industry. So no Titanic datasets, no Iris datasets. Choose meaningful projects that are actually important for the industry that you want to work in. So for example, if you want to work in finance, do loan approval predictions or stock market price predictions. If you want to work in healthcare, do a project related to insurance claims, disease prevention, or vaccine effectiveness. And if you're transitioning into data and you have no idea what industry you want to work in, think about what experience you already have. If you're currently working in a role, even if it's non-technical like healthcare or education, you can leverage that past business domain to target your first data analyst role. I actually had a student do this. She was working in healthcare in a non-technical role not related to data analytics at all. She learned SQL on a deep level, built a really good portfolio, and leveraged her past experience in healthcare to land a really good data analyst role in a healthcare company. Not only did it pay over 6 figures, but it was a $31,000 salary increase from her previous role in healthcare. That's life-changing money, and she did it by building a really good portfolio and leveraging her past business background. If it sounds impossible, it's literally not. By the way, if you want to build SQL projects that'll actually get you hired, check out my free Intro to SQL course below. You'll build your first mini project in only 30 minutes, even if you have no prior coding experience. Or if you're more advanced, check out my intermediate course to build an entire portfolio with 2 complete projects. Links are in the description below. Along with choosing a project that aligns with your target industry, the second thing you need to do is choose a realistic data set. So not only do you need to think about the type of project and business problem you're solving, you also need to choose a realistic data set. If you choose a sample data set that's too generic or not realistic, it's not going to be as strong of a project. Because real world data a lot of times is very messy and hard to deal with. You don't always want to start with a clean cookie cutter data set that only has like 50 rows. So I highly recommend you find an actual real data set that's big enough to have variation and require some data cleaning. Or my favorite thing to do is to actually create synthetic data sets using AI tools. You can head over to my video on that after this one. Okay, so now you have your projects, but where do you host them? Back to our house analogy, this is the structures and the walls that sit on top of the foundation. I personally love hosting my code in a data science notebook because it's all saved in the cloud. It also makes it really easy to switch back and forth between SQL, Python, and data visualization all in one place. Plus, data science notebooks allow for cells that have text or markdown where you can clearly communicate and show what you're doing for every single step. So online data science notebooks are really good places to organize and communicate and storytell your work step by step. But whether you use a data science notebook or regular code files, you're going to want to store all of your work in GitHub. A lot of people will tell you that you need a fancy website or a fancy front end, but honestly, don't waste your time on that. You're not applying for a website designer role, you're applying for a data analyst role. So just keep it simple and keep it in GitHub because that's where data professionals and engineers actually live and work in. Not only does it look more technical, but it also shows that you're familiar with the platform, which is a huge plus. In GitHub, you're going to make a repository for every single project. A repository is basically a folder where you can put a bunch of different things into. It's kind of like Google Drive, but for code. Inside every repository, you're going to put all the files for that one project. So any CSV files, Excel files, dashboard links, code files, even PDFs of dashboards if you have to export them and can't provide a live link. But here's the thing, a hiring manager might only look at your project for 1 minute if you're lucky. They're they're probably not going to go through every single file in the repository. So you have to keep it super simple for them. And that's why your README page is everything. Your README page in your project repository is arguably the most important part of the entire project. Because if they don't like what they see there, they're not going to look any further. And back to our house analogy, this is the interior design of the house. This is making sure that everything looks pretty and appealing and that people actually want to buy what they're seeing. The house is built, but now we have to actually make it look good. And you always want to lead with the impact. You want a wow result up front. So preferably something quantified that shows real business impact. And of course, even if it's a made up project scenario, just make it look real. And you can always be transparent about that in interviews. Here's the exact README file that got me all of my six-figure data analyst roles. Number one, you have to start out with a strong title and pack it full of relevant buzzwords. So you can add the type of analysis. Is it a funnel analysis? Is it an exploratory data analysis? Logistic regression? The industry, is it healthcare, finance, software as a service? Because if a hiring manager is looking for someone who's familiar with funnel analyses for a software as a service fintech, boom, they can immediately see that you have that experience. And it shows that you're familiar with that type of work. You also need an executive summary right at the top. Hiring managers are busy people. They're probably not going to read everything. This might actually be the only part that they read. So summarize anything worth noting here in just a few sentences. You want to highlight the business problem, the results, the next steps. Being able to condense down all that info into one executive summary is also a skill that data analysts need to have. Next, we're going to go into more details of the project, and we're going to start out with a business problem. Most people skip this step, but you have to make it super clear. Why are you doing this project? Why does it exist? What problem are you trying to solve? You have to show that you're thinking about the business as a whole, not just the coding. This is what's going to separate you from the complete newbies. Next, you want to show the methodology. Did you use a funnel analysis, a regression, exploratory data analysis? What types of data skills did you actually use here? And keep it concise and high level. No one wants to read paragraphs here. They need to be able to skim and see all the relevant buzzwords to know that you're speaking the same language as them and that you can walk the walk, not just talk the talk. Next, list all of your skills. So like SQL, Python, Power BI, all the different tools and skills that you use. But go a step more granular and actually be specific. What did you use in SQL? Did you use window functions, CTE, subqueries? What Python packages did you use? Again, more senior buzzwords can signal to them that you actually know your stuff and know what you're doing. Next, you want to have your results and business recommendations. What did you find and learn from this, and what do you recommend? And here you want to think about the things that non-technical business stakeholders actually care about. Who is your primary stakeholder for this project? Is it executives? Is it marketing? Is it a product manager? Provide recommendations that speak their language and align with their business actions. What do you think they should do based on your analysis? Make it clear. This is where you connect data to decisions. And finally, to really drive the point home, you're going to provide next steps at the very end. And most people do not do this, but this is where you address what you would do if you had more time. I think this is also a great spot to address any limitations. Does your data have any limitations? Does the project have any limitations? This shows that you're able to think more deeply about the project and you're thinking about the business long term, not just completing a homework assignment really quickly. Once your project is built, answering all of these is a lot easier than it sounds. And having it clearly outlined right on your README page in the very front of your repository makes interviews so much easier. And you can even pull it up in your interviews and walk a hiring manager through it live. All right, your portfolio is built, your README page is ready, and now you have to get your portfolio out there. Back to the house analogy, this is putting on the final touches. So like cleaning the windows, fresh paint, landscaping, everything you need to do to get it buyer ready. Because yes, you need to sell yourself and your skills to hiring managers. Here's what you got to do to make sure people see your portfolio and like what they see. Put your portfolio link on your resume and on your LinkedIn page. Email it to hiring managers before your interviews. Say, thank you so much, I can't wait for our interview next week. Here's my portfolio if you'd like to check it out ahead of time. Put your portfolio right in front of them and make it so easy for them to see it. It also shows that you're being proactive. And always, always, always test your links in incognito mode. Make sure anybody is able to view your links and you don't have any permissions issues, because nothing makes a worse impression than sending out a link that they can't even view. And remember, don't over-engineer your portfolio projects. If it's a simple business question, don't bring in machine learning models. Keep it appropriate. Hiring managers want someone who can come in and do the job, not someone who's just showing off for the sake of it. Just like a beautiful, well-built house attracts buyers, your portfolio will attract the right employers. Companies are desperate for data analysts who can solve real business problems. And when you can do that, you become their top choice, which means lots of negotiation leverage. Cha-ching! If you're serious about becoming a data analyst, check out my free Intro to SQL course below. It's perfect for beginners to build your first mini project in only 30 minutes, even if you've never coded before. Or if you're ready to build a full portfolio and get hired fast, check out my intermediate course. Thanks so much for watching. Sending you lots of big data energy. Bye!